Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, I'm Amanda. I'm going to be doing my version, I guess, of what I do for like a flawless, full coverage face. So keep in mind that what works for me might not work for you. It might not be as full coverage as you like, or it might be too much. If you want to see how I did this right here, then just go ahead and please keep on watching. Okay, so I have you all zoomed in just a little bit. And first, what I like to do is go in with the Benefit Professional Primer because I've already moisturized my face. The Benefit Total Moisture Facial Cream, it is just like a thicker hydrating cream. And that's what I like to do, just to hydrate my face, just because I do have really dry skin. What I like to do is, as soon as it's moisturized, I like to go in with a pore primer, just because I have kind of like bare pores, which is weird because I have really dry skin, but I have like bad pores. And then what I like to do is just put that on my cheeks because that's where my pores are really bad at. I don't know if you can already tell that this is a lot smoother than this side is. This side's really bumpy. But then I like to put a little bit on my nose and then a little bit as well on my chin. I also like to put it in the crevice of my nose right here, just so that the foundation kind of just like goes over it and doesn't like cake in the corner. Now, I definitely would recommend, for fuller coverage, the best possible to find what works for you, because if you don't have bad pores, then you might just want like a smoother. But this one is a really good smoother, even if you don't have like ginormous pores. Like, it's just a good like base. I like it just because it smooths and fills in pores. And then whatever is left, I'll just like spread it all over the rest of the face. I'm going to turn this down a little and zoom you all in so you can see. I do have some dark circles going on, a little bit of redness on my nose with freckles, and then I have like real redness right here on my cheeks. I don't know if you can really tell, but the smoothness has covered, but I do have some acne like spots here, here, and here, a couple over here. I have just redness, discoloration, bad dark circles, and my pores. I don't know if they look really bad now, but then I also like to go in with Max Fix Plus before and after, just because I like the way that it makes my skin feel. But while that sets in for a second, go ahead and show you the foundations. Now, if you want like a real coverage and you have like some acne, like real redness and spots, I recommend going in with a concealer or spot corrector first, and then putting it on those spots. So like I would put it like on this one and right here, and then going with my foundation, and then like put my regular concealer and contour as normal. But I would go in with a spot concealer first. I don't really have like that bad of breakouts right now. I just have a couple spots. I'm just not gonna conceal. But I recommend using the MAC Studio Fix Fluid. Now, this one is SPF 15, but this one is really good coverage. And it is matte if you have oily skin. But where I have dry skin, and I've been really liking that kind of like satiny matte or like natural looking sheen, but still want like a full face, I go in with this, and then the Fiona Stiles Luminous Finished Foundation Concentrate. I love these two together just because this one is so full coverage and matte, and then this one is luminous, or like natural dewy, I should say. It does get a little bit more dewy throughout the day, but at like the first couple hours it's just like a natural satiny look. So I really like these two together. So what I like to do is go about that, so that would be about 2 pumps, maybe 2.5 pumps. And this one does have a pump, but I just like to go in with a pump and a half. And then I typically just use my finger to blend them together. So once it's all blended together, I'm just going to go and dab it on my face. I like to do half my face at a time, just so you know it doesn't dry so fast. And then I do like to go in with a damp beauty blender, NYX foundation blender or blending sponge or something, but this is the NYX one. I like to go and spray a couple squirts on the bottom of my sponge and then go in, like with Fix Plus, and then go in. Now if you like it with a brush, I recommend using a brush just because you will get a little bit more coverage that way. But to where I have that dry skin, I like to use a damp sponge just because it kind of like melts into my skin a little better. And of course always bring it down your neck, but where this matches me quite a bit, I just put a little bit. But if your foundation does look a little off, always blend the foundation down your neck, and then if you also need to, add bronzer down your neck just to match it up. That's always my tip and what I always do. Now I have extra, and what I like to do is just go over spots that I may have blended out too much, or the spots that I had the acne, just to like really cover those. But I like to keep it also the extra in these sections that I have my redness. I like to go in with one of these little face brushes just to get right around my nose, just so it doesn't cake up, and that way it blends in and looks a little smoother, as well as right around this part of my nose. And then for concealer, I've been using the LA Girl Pro Conceal HD concealers. I really like this one just because it's affordable, as well as really good coverage. Now you can definitely, if you need like intense coverage, and I recommend the MAC Pro Longwear or the the Tarte Shape Tape, the Kat Von D, what is this? The Kat Von D Lock-It Concealer. This is just a mini one. Or the It Cosmetics Bye Bye Under Eye. I really love this stuff too. This is just a sample size. But lately what I've been doing is going in with the LA Girl one. What I really like to do is just start on the inner part and then work my way down, just because that's where I need the most coverage from my dark circles. Also recommend going on with like a peachy pink concealer corrector. Now that's what I typically do, but my dark circles have not been as bad lately, so I haven't been using this. But what I usually will do is go in with a pink corrector first before I do my concealer. Then go in with that same end that you used for your foundation and just go over that like kind of middle section where your foundation and your concealer meet, just so there's no like harsh lines and everything's just blended very well. So now what I have left, or just if you want to add more, I just like to go with a little bit on my chin and some on my forehead, just and a little bit on my nose, just to kind of like tie all of the highlighted points together. And I like to do the highlighter first before I go in with like bronzer and contour. And then again go over with the other side where you had foundation, just to blend lines together. Now for like bronzer contour, I've been using this every single time since I've got it. This is the Tarte Tartiest Pro Glow. Now what I do is go in with the shade in the name shade. It's just like a cream contour bronzer. Again, one of those small face brushes, just carve out where I want to go. So I start on the outer part and then lightly go in just so it goes from darker to lighter. Now if you go in with too harsh of a line, this does blend out very well. So I like to do that and then kind of like drag this little part upward because that's where I want to blend it anyways. And then I like to go in with more starting at my temple. With whatever is left, I will just do a little bit right here on my jaw. And then I'm going to go back in with my sponge and then just blend this upward from the cheeks. I think that this creates just like a perfect like neutral bronzed contour. And I like that this cream product kind of just like blends it, makes it a little bit more flawless than trying to go too harshly with a powder, because at least this cream you can blend it out a little better than you would a regular powder. But that creates such a lovely shade, like shadow around the face. Now if you want, you can go ahead and go in with that powdery shade on the other side. But what I've really been liking doing is going in with the Estee Edit the Barest bronzer in the shade 01 Light Medium. Then just lightly going over that just because this is a really like light bronzer. But if you really need the extra coverage, then I recommend going in with the Coty Airspun Loose Face Powder in the shade Translucent Extra Coverage. Now this one has a little bit more coverage, so if you need to add a powder to add extra coverage before you start putting on your other blush and bronzer, I definitely recommend going in with this. But I don't really want to do that today, so I'm just going to go in with my powder just because I've been doing this and it like blends on top of it and doesn't really move. So, and this is just like a kind of neutral but just warm enough without being too warm. So I've been really liking this shade. And so I just like to go kind of like right over top of what I just did, but then just go up a little bit higher. And then make sure you blend it to your temples. And then I do like to go just a little bit on the forehead. Then around the hairline. And I always like to go lightly on my neck, like right under my jaw, just to lightly blend everything together. And then for blush, I'm just going to go in with this Tarte Amazonian Clay in the shade Exposed, just because this is a light neutral pink shade. And I like this just because it creates like a nice flush to the face, and so it kind of creates like that flawless look just because it's not like overpowering and there's not like any like harsh bright like colors. It just kind of like blends into the skin a little better and just kind of creates beautiful natural flush. But if you want, you can build this shade up and make it a little deeper. And what I like to do is just go over with the brush that I use for bronzer and just lightly go over where I put my blush, just so it blends the blush and the bronzer together. And that way, if you accidentally was to put a little bit too much blush on, then it kind of just like helps blend it out. And then I've been going in with the Jeffree Star Skin Frost, but today I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm going to go in with a new shade. This is in the shade Crystal Ball. This is from his Chrome collection. Now this does look like his one in Ice Cold, but it has like a little bit more pinky to it. What I would typically do was just to go with more of your skin tone. So like if you have a very light skin tone, then go with a little bit more whitish shade. And so typically if I really wanted to go for that flawless looking all over glow, then I'm going to go in with like a more neutral shade. But just to go in with the eye look that I did today, I'm going to go in with this shade. And then just lightly put that right on the apples of my cheeks. But I would typically go in with something like a little bit more champagne-y, just because it has like a little bit more of that skin toned color. I like this one just because it goes in with the eye look that I have, just because it's like pinky but white at the same time. And for lips, I'm going to go in with Jeffree's liquid lipstick in the shade Calabash. It's from the new Summer Chrome collection as well. And then I'm going to go off camera to do my brows. So I'm going to show you all the close-up so hopefully you can see. Look how smooth it all looks. So I really hope that you all enjoy. Let me know if you try this look. If you do, tag me on Instagram to do more videos like this. Just let me know and I'll be sure to do them. But I hope that this helped. I hope that you liked this. Don't forget to check out my other videos. Don't forget to leave it a thumbs up, subscribe down below, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye everyone.